Welcome back to Bonsai Druid. I have today with me this 25-year-old tree that I've had for quite a while. It's getting a restyle and it's grown some really huge leaves and it needs a good trim. So we're going to get into this. I did some major chops on this tree to try to improve the primary branches. And now I kind of have to go back in here and refocus the growth and the energy to go to the places I need it to go to. I already have an issue with the trunk. Like for me, I like the trunk. The trunk is great. I like this branch going over this way. It has like a branch extending off the end of this. This one seems to have died back, so I'll probably cut it back. I'll probably remove this little guy in here. It's too close to this nice branch, which, when I bend the leaves down out of the way, I have some nice movement in these branches. So I can trim them back and try to push some growth back, like back butting into this branch if possible. But I do like this branch. It's this side over here where it gets a little ugly, because as thick as this is, this scales down nice. This one here, real thick. Really, really, really thick. So this would have to be, like, if I don't cut this all off altogether, that would leave only this branch over here. I have to get some taper going up here. This is really thick. This branch here isn't really great. The placement of this is, it's not on an outer bend right here. It's just like kind of in the middle of here. So I don't know what I want to do about that. Up here I had to chop. And so there is now this one little branch growing from the bottom of this. I'm not sure, I may be able to carve some of this back so it connects better up to this top area, which if I separated this away, you can kind of see that there's a top going on there. A leader that would be a lot smaller than all the rest of the goings on here. All of these really thick areas. Unfortunately, I still am stuck with this really rather straightness here. So, for the sake of not just chopping it all off here or here, I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can make something happen with this leader up here. That also leaves a lot of growth back here. I'm not sure how much of any of this I'm going to need. So to me, the best way to start is to start on this branch here. Let's see. First of all, I gotta make it visible. Gotta be able to see. So this branch here is in the way. And don't need it. Well, no, I forgot. I might need this. This may end up being the back of the tree. This originally was going to be the front. But now I think it's actually going to be the back. So, first I'm going to take off this. This here seems dead. It'd be nice if I could grow another nice little elbowy branch out of this side. But this one here is too close. I don't like it being where it's at. I could end up cutting this stump all the way back to here. But what I'm going to do instead is make some trims here. I'm going to leave this little end. Let's see if we can see it. I'm going to leave this little guy right here. The one behind it, I'm going to take off to a downward facing leaf. This branch right here is growing straight up off the top of this branch, so it's coming off. Let's see. Get that off first. I probably will remove the rest of this little stump, but I'm going to let it seal off and wither back a little bit before I do that. Then we have this branch here. It's got something growing straight up. I don't need that. And at the moment, I kind of like the scale of this branch, so again, I'm going to take this off in this direction. This one here, again, if this stays, if I keep this branch at all, this can be trimmed back and it tapers to a decent size. So I don't want that to get much thicker than what it's already doing, and I'm going to trim it back. This tree has been through many iterations, but it usually has a sort of a spreading crown, and I do like that. I've had aerial roots on it, taken them off, used one of them to make another bonsai, like a root cutting, but it made out of an aerial root, which was new for me, and I was pretty happy that it worked out. So we've done this branch. That's all I'm doing there. If this whole side ends up being the back of the tree, then I can leave this branch because it'll make a nice fill. Same with this here. This one below it is the problem branch. Do I keep it? Do I cut it? This whole upper part of the tree can get a little ugly. So what I'll do is focus on this side of this branch and take off things that I know I want to remove. Like this whole branch here is crossing back across the trunk, so we take that off. Now there is a little twig growing here. I could leave that for now. This is dead. I could take that off. This branch back here, I can trim it back, get some back budding. I don't want this branch to really get any thicker than it is. I'm still not 100% sure I'm keeping it at all, but see, that's dead wood. Dead wood. I can trim this nicer. There we go. see about that. So then I have this, which again, growing up, I'm going to cut it back. It can grow lower, hopefully, or I can wire it down. I'm going to leave this one at the moment. Now we get up to the weeds. This right here may be the new leader. There's a lot of extra going on over here. And a spider. And you're on a branch I'm keeping actually. But I'm going to trim it back. And trim this branch way back. And I think I would so lower one down here, an upper one here. So 1, 2. I think I'm going to take this one off. It's a little close. That leaves me with this bit of an extension. I don't want all this thickening happening here, so I have to decide what to keep. It really kind of depends on which one ends up being the front. Well, I have this, another branch set down here, and another big one over here, and that's 3 things coming out of this one area. So, first I'm going to take this off so I can see a little better. And I'm going to take this off. This upper, don't want that. This is the back. I would say this here might end up being the front. So then I might want this one, these, probably not this at all. It's too much coming out of one spot. And this, I will also trim back because I don't really need it to be this long and full already. Let's see. This is where I'm at. I'm trying to rebuild this tree. It's in a round pot because until I get budding of other things, I don't know exactly which is going to end up being a true front. But I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure. Pretty hard to decide where the front would end up being with this tree. Sometimes I see it as a front and sometimes not. But most of these branches are, other than when I get to these tips where I could do any kind of wiring, this is just really kind of clip and grow because most of these structures are too thick to do anything. Oh, up here, this would be like the crown. I think I could take this branch this way, nip this top off, and let this weave its way up that way. That's an idea. Or take that off, and then take this back to a downward facing leaf. Like this one here. So maybe it'll start to go out. And then this will be the leader. This branch, I think I would also trim this. Maybe just the top leaves and the inner leaves. This one I think I'm going to shorten too. Just going to get the all over haircut. This is the only thing I've left. I'm going to trim these back too. There's really nothing redeeming in keeping both of these long whips. This one. And this one. And that's where I'm going to leave this one for now. This tree got fertilized right at the beginning of the month, but I'm kind of just doing like a maintenance fertilizer because I spent a long time being very random about keeping up with fertilizer, maintaining them that way. And I'm hoping I can get a better shape out of this tree after all these years. Still not sure about this thickness, but I'm going to do what I can to hide it. And then if it someday becomes necessary, I may just chop it here and let this cascade in that direction. Now this tree was the parent of a bunch of cuttings that took, which I'm pretty impressed. I've always been really bad about cuttings. I'm being successful with cuttings or seeds. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 actually, in this one bucket. And when I got this original mother tree, it was only about the size of one of these thickness as far as the trunk goes. About the size of that one. It's grown quite a lot over the years. These also came from this tree. This is a thicker cutting. I was surprised that it took. There's a couple of also some small ones in here. This one's got like a nice thick base with some branches already kind of zigzagging around. This one's upright pretty nicely. It's already got a nice bend in the trunk with a branch on the end of that bend, and I can fix something here up pretty quickly. And this was another one that I thought looked really cute because it originally looked a lot in shape like the parent tree, with the chubby little trunk or chubby little base of the trunk and branches kind of coming off sideways. Then I didn't think this little guy was going to make it, and lo and behold, he did. I had a little rock in here to kind of keep him propped up. So, take this rock out of here. Don't mind the toothpicks, they're just showing me where the fertilizer is last. You can't hardly see him for the... He's a little guy. Tiny little trunk to the side. There it is. So I'm pretty happy with this guy. I like him. So I hope you join me for my next video when I tackle the rest of these guys and do some trims on them too. And possibly change some of them into another pot if I think they would benefit from it. Right now they seem to be doing well in these pots, but I'm going to take a look at them and get them off to a good start, even though they're really little and could just grow. Thanks a lot. See you next time.